Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to do part 7 to 11 of Fanhome's Millennium Falcon. So yeah, continue on next 5 parts, and quite a lot to do here. So the past few, just a few screws here and there. It's actually a full-on modeling experience here. You got some filling, got some dry brushing, some painting. So it took me a couple of weeks to get this one together. In my spare time to get this filmed up. So again, thank you, Fanhome. They did send this to me free of charge, and if you want to subscribe, there's a link below. So yeah, let's get straight into this. Let's go look at the footage and look at what I've been up to in the past couple of weeks building these 5 parts. Okay, so I got my third box, and the second one was pretty delayed, so I got my third box within like a week of the last pack. So there's actually 5 parts in here. I think we have 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So again, just in bags, loose, thrown in like this. Unlike normal part works, where they seem to be, nicely packaged, but nonetheless, I think it'll be fine. Just going through the parts here, see the various bags, a lot of panels and stuff. And we've got the magazines. So I'm going to throw this out of the way. And 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So obviously we left it off building the cockpit last week, or last time, and I had that damaged frame. So I reached out to Fanhome, and they said they're going to send me another part, number 4, I think it was. So we finished that frame. So I'm not sure how far we can get with this one. Hopefully it's some different components, and that doesn't stall us. If so, I'm going to have to edit the video, wait for those parts to come in. So part 7, YT1000 light freighter. All the usual bump and information, backstory, and behind the scenes stuff in here. Crew quarters. And into the parts. So looking at, what are we on? 7. So I can find a bag. So this is what we got for 7. And we can kind of open up a little bit, see what we got. Let's use the rustlings. Ugh. Staples. All right, so this is all plastic on this one. So we've got basically a floor panel for the interior, I'm guessing. Three of these guys. Plastic sprue, some more plastic, and a handful of screws. So not a lot in this one. So what we're doing basically, so we got some information about working with sprues, basic modeling stuff, how to cut pieces off, sand them down, that kind of stuff, because obviously we're with plastic. You can skip forward for that. We're going to fit the cushions. Looks like it says use some super glue, so you need some super glue around, not included the kit. So we're going to super glue the cushions on, and then some extra techniques about, if you want to spruce up the cockpit tub, like dry brushing and other things. Obviously we do that later on. I'm not going to get super detail it right now. And then we're going over more information about that, but we've already built the cockpit tub, so it's gluing tabs and certain things. You ready to complete the cockpit assembly as a dry run? Okay, so we dry fitted it. Then that's saying basically take it apart, detail paint it, put it back together again. So okay, I wish it kind of said that earlier on, but anyway, so not really much to here, just basically put the cushions on, and not sure we even use this the whole part in this. No, so we'll probably just save that for a different part. But okay, so I'll go ahead and super glue the cushions on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so built the bunk and put the cushion on this guy. That's pretty much it. This we're going to work on the next part. Now, it says super glue. As a plastic, I just used my Tamiya cement, which is the same as this. It just comes in different bottles depending where you are in the world. Not the thin, runny, extra thin stuff, but the gloopy, thicker stuff like the resin. It's basically a resin kind of thicker glue. Like that because it gives some drying time, so it glues it down, no problem. And with these pads, putting these pads in, it was nice because if you have a little bit of working time, I could come back in with my tweezers and just move stuff slightly to create even spaces between the cushions, just with tweezers for it set. So yeah, so that's pretty straightforward, really. Nothing too crazy going on there. Just be careful. There's two. They're not numbered, but the two center ones are kind of smaller than the sides, shaped slightly differently. All right, part number 8. So again, flip through the magazine. And it's saying here to prep the whole floor, which we're going to do. I wasn't going to do too much stuff here. Like, for example, this, I can, take the airbrush out and create some really nice, effects and paint it all up and stuff. I was kind of wanting to do it maybe later on, but for the floor, I'm going to do the floor right now, I think, and we'll weather it in a little bit. So we'll do the floor. We're going to make a technical station. So make this technical station, make the floor. We're going to prepare the this guy and put the, I think we had this from a previous part. We're going to put the bunk in, which we just built, and then some more details going on, assembling the seat. And there we go. So I'm going to put this aside. So this floor has got some nice detail on here. I kind of want to pick it out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply real easy powder line wash. Now I'm going to use Flory Models Gray. If you have like oils, you could do like a nice oil wash maybe, but I think this will work good. So I've got some gray. Ooh, it's very thick. I haven't used this in a long time, so a little gloopy. So let's give it a little brush. So I think it'll be okay. So yeah, so I haven't used that probably in a few years. So anyway, so I'm just going to basically brush it all over this, and it's clay, and it's not going to hurt anything. If you don't like it, you just wash it all off. So all these lines, I'm just going to cover with this clay wash, this gray, and then I'm going to leave it to dry for about 20 minutes, and then come back in, just wipe it off with a kitchen paper. And there we go. So I'm going to let that sit dry for 20 minutes and come back and we'll wipe it off. Okay, so you see this guy's dried, so let's get it removed. So simply a bit of paper towel, kitchen roll, and it's going to lick it. A little moisture, it just comes off easier if you lick it. And just going to wipe away. A bit more moisture. And there we go. It's hard to see, I mean, the contrast, but you got a little bit of detail there with the gray from the plastic. I mean, you could maybe go for a different color if you wanted to, but it's definitely visible. It needs more of a clean. Oh, dropping it. There we go. It's looking a little better. It doesn't make a huge difference, but anyway. So also I've done is the bench, and this is still drying a little bit, but those cushions are a bit of a nightmare to get in. Again, using my cement and just getting it all lined up, and I did actually run some extra thin Tamiya cement around the back just to kind of help it to get it all lined up. So again, it's actually surprised me, this kit. The last few parts you can knock together in a few minutes. It's actually a full-on modeling experience on this one, which is better value for money, I'm guessing. So per the cue and instructions, I dry brushed the instrument panel. Dry brushing, simply just taking a flat brush, and I used aluminum model layer, and dip it in and basically just wipe it all off the paint onto a paper towel so you have nothing left basically, and then lightly run it over and it catches all the high spots. So I did that. I did a little dry brushing on these parts too, and this little bit around here too. It does say gray, but I just went with silver. Just run it over and dry brush it. Make sure your paint's off the brush. Basically, just keep wiping it, and then there we go. So that's kind of where we're at now. I've got a few other pieces working on the light. I've started painting white on each of the ends, and we can start putting this thing together. Okay, so I'm a modeling bench because actually doing a little bit of modeling, so I kind of piece this together and per the instructions, recommends filling the back of these seats because as you see, that's kind of looks, and when it's in place, the three cushions at the bottom here, you can actually see behind them. So what I did was I just filled the back, and sanded it back, and I'm going to prime it, and then paint it just a matching kind of buff kind of color. So that's hardcore modeling going on there. So I think the best option, I don't want to fill, it's quite a big gap. You can use plastic art, I guess. I don't want to use modeling products, modeling filler, because it's pretty expensive. You're going to need quite a lot of it. So Milliput was my first go. It's a two-part thing, just mixed together. Always wear gloves because it gets your hands really messy. Some rubber gloves. And I've had this a few years, and even though it's a two-part, I think it's just gone off. So I put it on, left it 2 days, and it was still soft. So I removed it, and then I went to the shed and pulled out the good old-fashioned wool spackling. This is from Lowe's, I think. It's pink and it turns white when it's dry. Fill out holes and walls, that kind of stuff. Dry wool spackle. So I've used this before in my videos. I think my 16th scale not King Tiger, regular Tiger, Tiger 1, did Zimmer it with this. I just sprayed it on and made Zimmer it. So I've actually used this quite a lot, and then for dioramas and stuff too. So it's actually a pretty good product, and it's a big tub of this is way cheaper than a little thing of like Vallejo putty or something like that, like putties and stuff, your modeling stuff for small areas. Whereas this, you can slap it all on. So it dries really quickly too. So put it on, just used as you would in the wall, but pretty much spread it on and took a set over a sink because it's very messy. Kitchen sink, I just took my sanding and my sander and just sanded it back to get it smooth. So now I'm just going to prime it, to kind of lock it all in because it is a little bit fragile, and then paint that little section buff to kind of match the front here. And then once we're in place, it's going to all kind of tie in. There we go. I'm looking at this. I might hand paint some of the details on here too on the instrument panel. This isn't glued, it's just kind of clicked into place. We'll see. I'm not sure how much of this you're really going to see once it's inside the Falcon. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. So I'm not necessarily loving the, now I see it, I'm not necessarily loving the effect from the wash on the panels and stuff. I might do something else with that as well, but I'll keep you updated. So next up, I'm going to prime this thing with some gray and then get it painted. Okay, so here we are, and here's the seats. And as you can see, we're now filled and painted. Still a little wet, probably. Just some usual, well, primed it, and then just XF57 buff Tamiya. It's a pretty close kind of match. Again, you're not really going to see it, it's the back of the chair. So kind of really looking how that's going. Really liking how it's looking, should I say. And then simply just clicks into here, into the holes, like so. And now you can see the back. Let me put the light on here. I got sunlight coming right in here, so maybe that's better to see it. So, and that's how we're looking. So, looked a lot better, definitely just a little filling job and painting, and ties it all in there. So, that completes section 8. So, I did take some white paint and I'm not the world's greatest hand painter by any means, but I just painted a few little details on that control panel is white. Again, it just clicks into place. I took it off, painted a few details, just kind of pick it out a little bit more. So now we're on to number 9. So 9, so again, we're going through some information here. And next parts. So we have, just pack number 9 here, we'll look at in a minute, a bunch of stuff which I think I'm not provided. Okay, sorry, the batteries aren't provided, so we need some AA batteries. Ooh, I'm not sure if I have those. I definitely have AAA, so I need to check on that too. So it looks like we need 4 AA's we need. So it looks like we're testing the lighting in the cockpit. And go over here, yep, testing the lighting. So we're just going to plug it in, test it. We're going to assemble the cockpit. Kind of did that already, but okay. Some light-proof stickers that need to go on. So you take it apart again and put it back together. Follow from these steps, and we're going to detail the passage tube, sorry. And carry on here. We're going to add some external detail too from this sprue here, which I think was from no, this is from this part, from an earlier part for sure. So a lot of work. I mean, again, last few parts we kind of whipped through real quick. These actually need some, some actual work involved here. So that's 9. Let's open the bag. Excuse the rustling. Let's see what we've got going on in this bag. All right, so we've got another external piece. All this is get painted up at the end. Another piece of white metal. Hopefully this one doesn't crumble like the previous ones. Get your little battery pack here to test the lights. It looks like some various other plastic parts here. These look like, parts that go on the inside. Some, just like some rubber here to stop some light bleed. Some screws and just a grey panel. So that's what part 9 is. I'm going to go ahead off camera and start putting all this together, and we'll come right back. Okay, so step 9 is done. So I'm going to hold this very carefully, but basically it's super glued on. Well, not super glued, I used my usual cement here. And put all these little greeballs and stuff on, cut them off and stuck them on, put instructions. And this thing's sliding around, so I might need to tape it up just to hold it so it doesn't like shear the wire off or something. But I guess you can see if I turn it on, you can see how it all lights up. Did put the light strips on the inside here, just adhesive, put instructions, just see how I cut just the ends off. So they go around the tabs, they just fit on each side. It's pretty straightforward. So that bit's done. It's still kind of drying, so I'm going to put it somewhere safe. And the thing that frustrates me is all this is left over. Panels, that, all this, I mean, wire, that. Now, as you see, when we move on to step 10, we're going to start building this, and I mean, we have all the parts here, so why can't we do it in 9 and get rid of it? I mean, why we carry over to the next part? It's just very confusing, these instructions. You think, well, I get, maybe the big panels and stuff we tie over, but there's so many bits here. We've got some stuff from other parts too. It's just a little confusing. It doesn't really make sense, like I just said. But anyway, so put all these to the side and bring in part number 10. I think we're up to 11 here, right? I think maybe 12. We have 11, up to 11 parts here. So part 10, and as you see, all the stuff left over from 9, we're pretty much going to take care of. Plus, there's going to be more stuff left over from this, from the next part. It's just, again, it doesn't really make sense. But round over, looking through the instructions here, again, some really good like material, nice reference material. And you really could go to town with this. I mean, especially the interior, you could, do a ton of scratch building, look at all the pictures and really detail it up. If you so desire. Obviously, I'm just going through the normal kind of route here and following the instructions. So next parts. So again, this is what we've got in the box, and we're going to use all this from part 8 and this from part 9, which I just talked about. And we're basically going to do is build the lining for the whole door. We're going to dry brush and paint this little panel. Spoiler, I already did that, so I can talk to you about it right now. Just dry brushed it, and I wasn't really happy with looking at it needs a little bit brighter. So I took the same paint, the Model Air aluminum or aluminium, depending where in the world, and just hand painted these little areas and boxes to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. So basically do the lining of the wall and then assembling the whole wall. And we're taking basically, excuse my reach, taking this interior part and we're just taking the back wall off. And we're basically putting all this gubbins in. That's going to carry on to part number 11 as well. Spoiler alert. So that's kind of where we're at. So, let me open the parts real quick. So, open a bag on number 10. And we've got more paneling, more framing, another plastic piece, and some screws. And the irony is, I don't think any of this we use in part 10. It's, yeah, it's all part 8 and 9 we're using, but we're using instructions for part 10. So riddle me that. So all right, anyway, I'm going to start building that lining of the door, and we'll come right back. So here we are, part 10, and that's how we're looking the back wall thus far. So basically putting all these, cutting out, putting these little cushions in, pads or whatever they are, on the internal, and then you're gluing this in, gluing that on top. Ironically, this works better, fits nicely on the other way around, but it does go this way. So there's a little bit of gap, doesn't fit great. So the cushion thing goes on the inside, and a couple of panels. This one we talked about, I painted, and this guy we cut from a previous part from this sprue right here. And you basically got that, which is looking pretty cool. So now we can kind of work upon that. So now we're on part number 11. Again, we're going to flick through. You can see the book. Now we're talking about some TIE fighter stuff. Again, I'll go for this pretty quickly, and we can get into the parts. So this is what we got in the bag. And we are basically fitting pipe. More pipe work. So fitting 1, 2, 3 pipes and a 4th pipe. So basically it's 4 pipes is what we're installing here, which again isn't really anything from this part. So now we'll carry over more parts yet again. So let's see what's in parts 11. I mean, at some point soon, I'm guessing we're just going to have a whole ton of like panels and framing to do. All right, some more screws and another panel, external panel. Another bit of framing. Just dropping more screws. Piece of frame and a bit of plastic. So there we go. So that's a plastic interior. So not too much here left to do. Just basically got 4 pipes to put on. So that'll take me a couple of seconds. So I'll cut these off, get them cleaned up, and I'll glue them in place. And then we can wrap this up. Okay, so pretty straightforward 5-minute job. Basically gluing 4 pipes in, as you can see. Looking pretty nice in there now. So 4 pipes on, a little touch of glue, and it just kind of, these two are kind of hanging on the edge there. I'm guessing it can connect something later on. But that's kind of the interior we did. As I just mentioned, a few minutes ago, you could really hyper detail this thing and make it look pretty awesome. Definitely happy how that turned out, filling that in with the spackle. And yeah, that's good. That's the interior. So that's kind of what we're up to. So we're done through parts 11 here. Is there a part 12? No, so up to 11. I've lost track of what we got here. So up to number 11, and so we've got this obviously built all this interior, which is actually quite a lot of work going in there. We've got this little guy done. We have a ton of spare parts left over. So all of that's left over for future. So you need a nice box to keep hold of that so I don't lose it all. And going back to what we've done already, we have obviously the in my box here, various parts, panels, and got to close the loop on this guy too. Remember, this bit broke, second part broke, well, was even still broken the packet. So wait for the third part to come so we can actually finish off some of this stuff too, as I'm losing screws. So that's where we are. So there you go, quite a lot going on there as you saw, and yeah, that interior, a little scratch building and a little bit of painting and stuff, you can really make that pretty special, I think. So yeah, so if you want to subscribe to this, the link is below from Fanhome, and please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and you'll get latest updates of all my modeling shenanigans. And yeah, I'll be back in about 3 or 4 weeks with the next 5 parts of this. So again, thank you Fanhome for sending me this, and thank you for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next time. Bye.